In the history of the Green Goblin, there was a short period of time after Norman Osborn was exposed to the chemicals that changed him, but before he put on the mask. During this time, Osborn used an agent who unknowingly helped him on his path to donning the green and purple. This agent is known as the Headsman, and I will tell you more about him on this episode of Lesser Evils. The Headsman, whose real name is Cleavon Twain, first appeared in Untold Tales of Spider-Man Volume 1, Issue number 8 that came out in 1996. After Spider-Man takes down another mob boss, Norman Osborn sees his opportunity to gain more allies in the form of the Enforcers, a group of longtime Spider-Man foes. Osborn sends the Headsman in while Spider-Man is fighting the Enforcers inside of a shopping mall. A falling elevator with people inside forces Spider-Man to leave his fight with the Enforcers. The Headsman strikes just after Spider-Man has the elevator secured and knocks the web-slinger to the ground. While Spider-Man is incapacitated, the Headsman gives the Enforcers information before telling them to escape. Turning his attention back to Spider-Man, the Headsman attacks the hero and cuts a large hole in his mask. With his identity at risk, Spider-Man escapes from the Headsman, who lets him leave as his job is done. Later that evening, the Enforcers arrive at an Oscorp building where they had been instructed to meet the Headsman. Thanks to a warning from a friend, Spider-Man gets the drop on the Headsman and the Enforcers. In the close quarters, Spider-Man quickly takes out the Enforcers and then picks up his fight with the Headsman. Spider-Man manages to break the cable that runs from the Headsman's axe to the battery on the villain's back, causing it to short circuit. After Spider-Man turns his attentions back to the Enforcers, the Headsman escapes. Osborn, furious about the Headsman's failure, realizes that if he wants something done right, he has to do it himself. A short time later, the Headsman returns and surprises Spider-Man with a repaired battery pack that lacks the cable weakness. The Headsman is furious that Spider-Man's interference cost him a job. To make a name for himself among the crime bosses, he wants to kill Spider-Man. With the knowledge that the Headsman just wants to kill him, Spider-Man plays a trick and fakes his death in front of the villain. The ruse works, and Headsman flies off proud of his accomplishment. Sometime soon after, the Headsman is recounting his achievement to a local mob boss. His gloating is interrupted by the news that Spider-Man had just stopped one of the gang's shipments. The mob boss jokes about the situation, leading to the Headsman angrily smashing the mob boss's desk before flying through the wall and into the night. The Headsman locates Spider-Man while the hero is showing off for his friends. Furious at his latest embarrassment by Spider-Man, the Headsman attacks ferociously. As the fight makes its way into an apartment building, the Headsman's wild axe swings cut through the important supports, causing the building to become unstable. Deep in his revenge fit, the Headsman doesn't notice the string of webbing that clotheslines him and slingshots him out a hole in the roof. Regaining his composure, the Headsman flies back towards the apartment building when he is stopped by the Green Goblin. Learning that the Green Goblin was the creator of his axe and his hover disc, the Headsman attacks after the Goblin demands the technology back. Using pre-built fail-safes in the Headsman's gear, the Green Goblin causes it to short out before punching the Headsman. After plummeting to the ground, the Headsman manages to survive the fall and he is arrested. Years later, in Thunderbolts Volume 1, Issue 129 that came out in 2009, the Headsman is pulled out from prison to join Norman Osborn's new Thunderbolts team. The team's first mission was to attack Air Force One that is carrying the President, Osborn, and a longtime Hulk ally, Doc Samson. Samson has info on Osborn being unfit for his new job as head of the agency, replacing S.H.I.E.L.D. After turning Samson's Hulk nature to his advantage, the Green Goblin attacks the plane. Preparing his scene, Osborn has the President witness him knocking the Goblin from the plane and saving the day. Activating a device that stops his fall, the Green Goblin gets picked up by his team, where it is revealed that he is actually the Headsman in disguise. As part of the Thunderbolts team, the Headsman joins them in stopping the vengeful Deadpool, who had targeted Osborn for stiffing him on payment for a job. When the Headsman takes on Deadpool, the merc with a mouth almost kills him using a grenade. Only the timely intervention of his teammate Ghost saves the Headsman's life. The Headsman would get to pay Deadpool back by cutting off his head. Following the business with Deadpool, the Headsman attempts to thank the Ghost for saving his life. The Headsman is surprised to learn that Ghost had saved it once before without him realizing it. The jetpack that had saved his life after Air Force One was supposed to fail before Ghost fixed it. After this, the Thunderbolts are sent to Madripoor to apprehend Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. During the mission, the Headsman ends up on the wrong side of a Spider-Woman beatdown, and the Thunderbolts lose their ride. In between the missions, the Thunderbolts pick up a new member known as Mr. X, who is addicted to killing. Very soon after joining the team, Mr. X instigates a fight between himself and the Headsman when the man tries to start a conversation. The fight isn't even close, and the Headsman is only saved by the intervention of the Black Widow. When the Black Widow on their team turns out to be the good one and blows her cover to rescue an original member of the Thunderbolts named Songbird, the women are eventually captured and the Headsman is put in the position of having to execute a shackled and defenseless Songbird. Despite his moniker, the Headsman is hesitant to kill the woman and ends up burying the edge of his axe into the stomach of the Thunderbolts leader Scourge. After the fight breaks out amongst the team, the Headsman has his axe turned against him by Scourge, until he is rescued by his teammate Paladin before the Ghost erases all the incriminating evidence of their betrayal. The Headsman plays a large role in Osborn's kidnapping of Danny Rand, the Iron Fist, but he gets taken down along with the rest of the Thunderbolts when Luke Cage manages to free Iron Fist and the pair escape. When Mr. X leaves the Thunderbolts base without permission, the rest of the team is sent to retrieve him. Even with the surprise first attack, the Headsman is quickly outmatched by Mr. X again, with the assassin turning the axe back on the Headsman. Only the timely intervention of Scourge saves the Headsman's life. The Thunderbolts wind up getting into a fight with a South American guerrilla army and unite as a team to fend them off. The Headsman has the time of his life as he flies around decapitating people. The Headsman's last mission with the Thunderbolts had him facing off against the agents of Atlas. After destroying one of their facilities to draw them out, the Thunderbolts unintentionally release a very poisonous gas into the area. Ghost offers the immunity to the team, who distrusts him until the Headsman steps up and takes the shot. When the agents of Atlas arrive, the two teams fight, but the Thunderbolts are easily beaten. When Scourge manages to take out the agent's telepath, the Thunderbolts begin to rally back. The battle is ended after the Thunderbolts are hit with a magical cry given off by the Agents of Atlas member Venus, who is also a mythological siren that makes them re-experience their most horrible past events. Fuck, I love comics. The Headsman recalls a scene from his youth where he learned that his older brother had killed his dog after it had bitten him one too many times. While the Thunderbolts are incapacitated, the Agents of Atlas are forced to retreat because of the toxic gas. Before they leave, the agent's telepath places a faulty suggestion into the mind of Scourge to kill Norman Osborn the next time he lays eyes on him. As the Thunderbolts recover from the psychic attack, the Headsman reveals to his teammate that he has a family nearby, including his brother, he would like to visit. After the Thunderbolts return to the base, they find Osborn has left a holographic message for them. Circled around the projection, the team listens to the recording. Seeing the image of Osborn triggers the murder suggestion in Scourge, and he attempts to shoot the image of Osborn. The bullet passes through the hologram harmlessly and strikes the Headsman right in the forehead. With his teammates staring in surprise and confusion, the Headsman dies on the ground. So why do I think the Headsman is worth taking a look at? To begin with, the Headsman was, in a way, a prototype for the Green Goblin. Based on the data gained from the Headsman's flying disc, Osborn developed his Goblin glider that has become so synonymous with the Green Goblin. The Headsman's failure to stop Spider-Man from screwing up Osborn's plan led Osborn to finally donning the Goblin mask. Despite his many failings, I think the Headsman had a cool shtick as far as supervillains go. His axe could cut through metal, stone, and even Spider-Man's webbing. His flying disc could reach speeds of up to 75 miles per hour and is supposed to be very maneuverable. Combined, the Headsman was shown to be able to sneak up on his opponents and get the surprise first attack. Having said all that, Cleavon Twain was just terrible at being a villain overall. In his appearances, the Headsman is shown to be easily fooled, easily provoked, and even with his badass gear, he is an awful fighter. Twice, the Headsman has his own axe turned against him and had to be saved by a teammate. In a strange twist, the Headsman was the single least effective Thunderbolts member, but probably had the most reason to be a Thunderbolt. The purpose of the Thunderbolts, when Norman Osborn is not in control, is about giving supervillains the chance to reform and to be better people. They don't need to be heroes like Songbird became, but they can be better than simple villains. Through his Thunderbolts appearances, the Headsman showed to be a decently friendly guy who appreciated his teammates. Although he was a cold-blooded murderer, he displayed a real reluctance in killing a defenseless victim who he had no grudge against. Although he acted like a stereotypical biker asshole, it stemmed from having an abusive older brother and a shitty home life like many people. Ultimately, he never had a chance though, as he died in one of the most laughable ways I have ever read. I hope the Headsman gear will be taken up by another person at some point, potentially Cleavon's older brother. This comic book reader would like to see this terrifying flying Axeman threaten to decapitate his enemies again.